guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 6, and I have a DraftKings Reignmakers video for you. We're going to go over the top 3 superstars, and I'm going to give you multiple players at each position that are not superstars that you can use in the game this weekend. We're going to take a look at their market prices at both the core and the rare divisions, the 2 lowest tiers. There are 5 tiers in Reignmakers: core, rare, elite, legendary, Reignmaker tier. There's a lot of different price points that you can get in so that you can get in wherever it is that you fit in. There are no entry fees to enter all the tournaments in the Reignmakers game. Your entry fee is just having a viable lineup. Quarterbacks are important. Stacking is extremely important when it comes to the tournaments, and you can get there for like under $50 at the core division to build a lineup that is not just useful for this week, but will be viable in future weeks as well. So let's go.
He's a legend.
The week 6 Smiz Gang Listener League is up. It is $10. It is 3 max, and it is absolutely no rake. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. You have to go to smizzle.tv/links to find the link to it, and it's going to fill. It's going to fill probably on Saturday, so make sure that you get in the Listener League today. Reserve your 3 entries. It is a 3 max tournament, so nobody can flood it with like 100 or 150. And I will shout out the winners right here on the Fantasy Football channel every single Monday. The top 10 finishers get a special shout out on the recap video that goes over everything that I did the previous week. So go to smizzle.tv/links and enter right now. The number 1 superstar on the week, I'm going to go through 3 superstars. Now, the key with superstars in Reignmakers, you can only play one of them in any given lineup, and quarterbacks are extremely important. Quarterbacks are very important this year versus previous years. Now, the band of quarterback scoring in previous years has been extremely tight. That's why we have been fine waiting on quarterbacks previously. But if you watched any of the offseason content, I was highly advocating for people to target the more elite quarterbacks, guys like what was Jalen Hurts was in like the 6th, 7th round. We were going after I was okay drafting Josh Allen when a lot of other people were not in the 3rd round. We were going after Lamar Jackson stacks to pair with the elite tight ends that we were drafting as well. So those stacks in your best ball lineups are doing quite well because the premium quarterbacks are outscoring the rest of the quarterbacks by so many more points this year than in the last 5 or 6 years. JJ Zacharyson just did a tweet on this. Go check out his feed. Follow him on Twitter if you don't already, where he highlighted exactly the average between the top 4 quarterbacks, the next, number 5 through 12, and then numbers 13 through 24 from like 2017, 18, 19, all the way up to 2022. And the gap between the elite guys and those next guys is massive. But specifically this year, Josh Allen leads the way with 30-plus point DraftKings days in 4 of their 5 games this year. And the one game he didn't wasn't all that bad either. He still had like 24.5 DraftKings points. So really high floor in what could be the highest scoring game of the day. It has the highest total of the day going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody hoping for a similarly exciting game to what we saw in the playoffs, where neither one of these defenses could stop either one of these high octane offenses. And if you cannot stop Josh Allen, it's going to be a problem. He costs you $27, $28-ish at the core level. That is not cheap for a quarterback, but he gives you the best chance of 1, cashing, and 2, once you stack around him, it gives you the opportunity to capture all of the points from that game. But he is going to be very popular. The superstar status holds him down, or holds his percentage of rostered down, but people are going to be chasing it this week. At the rare tier, he'll cost you about 135, 140, and then it goes up quickly from there. So grabbing one of the momentum or boosters if you play rare and you really wanted to get the guy who is far and away the number 1 QB in the league in terms of fantasy, you can go grab him because that price escalates rather quickly. But remember that Reignmakers is a market game. Christian McCaffrey, the number 2 guy in terms of lineup effect at superstar. Remember, you can only play one superstar, so you can't have a Josh Allen with Christian McCaffrey lineup. You can only play one of these guys. And as powerful as the stacking is in the game, and look, the superstar quarterbacks listed as like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, there's a lot of superstar quarterbacks. And if you wanted to get to a non-superstar stack with a superstar running back, it's a viable strategy to get off the beaten path because everybody wants that superstar quarterback to go with their stacks, like Mahomes and Kelsey, like Allen and Diggs, like Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. However, getting to that non-superstar stack, like Geno, Metcalf, Lockett, something like that, that has proven very viable in past weeks, allows you to get that superstar running back who don't get played as much unless you're playing it like a cash game and just going with best one-off lineup. Well, Christian McCaffrey, because he's a superstar, you see the price difference. He's only $10. Not much demand for the superstar running backs as much because of how powerful the superstar wide receivers like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp are, and then there can't be a superstar stack. So if a quarterback or a wide receiver is a superstar, their counterpart is not going to be. So most people are using quarterback or wide receiver superstars in their lineup, which leaves less demand for these running backs. Gives you a great way to be different with somebody who projects for over 20 DraftKings points pretty much every single game, and you can see the price difference for the rare Christian McCaffrey down to like $45, $48, $49, as opposed to that $150 that you've got to pay to go get the Josh Allen. And the last superstar, guess what? It's Cooper Kupp. It's always Cooper Kupp. It's always Cooper Kupp, guys. It's never not Cooper Kupp. $18. The reason he is cheaper than some of the other wide receiver pass catcher superstars or the quarterback superstars is because Matthew Stafford has been a little bit stinky this year, and stacking him has not been great, and the stacks have been what's been winning the tournaments, so Cooper Kupp prices have come down. If you want to build just a very good high projectable lineup that's not very correlated, that will give you a good chance to sneak into not even sneak into, you'll just plow into the money by playing a cash game type lineup with 4 non-superstars that project really highly, Cooper Kupp is basically a machine that will get you 29 DraftKings points in Reignmakers every single week. $18 to $19 for his core card, $90 for his rare card. One of the more powerful cards in the game as a standalone play. As I said before, Reignmakers is a market game, and if you wanted to get involved with all the market talk that we have in our Discord, you can go to smizzle.tv/discord to join. You can go to smizzle.tv/HQ. Please use my link. Do not go to OpenSea and search for it. There will probably be some spoofs out there. Always use my link through smizzle.tv/links or smizzle.tv/HQ. Pick up your Smizzgang HQ key. It is the token locked part of our Discord where our Reignmaker channel exists. All of my alpha for how I like to play these games and play the market in these games is in there, as well as a community of folks playing at all different tiers. I play in Reignmaker and Legendary. Mostly we have core players, rare players in there as well, who are working the market on a daily basis and using that community to bounce things off of, as isolating as daily fantasy and specifically Reignmakers can be, puts you at a massive advantage to be a part of that community. So join the HQ and jump in the Discord today. Coming over to the non-superstar players. Now, the difference between the superstars and the non-superstars. 1, non-superstars, you can play as many as you want in one lineup, obviously. 2, they can move up a division. So there is playability for somebody like Kyler Murray. If you buy the core, you can play him in a rare lineup, as rare lineups have to have 4 rare players and are allowed to play 1 core player. So you can spend down on a non-superstar and play him up. It also works if there's a superstar on a team. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the superstar players cannot play up. So if you have a core Christian McCaffrey, a core Cooper Kupp, or a core Josh Allen, you cannot play them in a rare tier game. So the advantage is that you can move these cards up. If you have an elite lineup, if you're an elite player, because you got hashtag how rich like that, you can buy a rare tier Kyler Murray and play him up in the elite lineup, because you get 1 rare player that can move up to elite and not have to pay like the $800 for a Kyler Murray at elite. You can pay down at one point in that lineup. Kyler Murray projecting very well this week in a game against Seattle. Seattle struggles to stop basically everything on offense, and that game is the 2nd highest total on the slate. Murray has not really been utilized with his legs as much. We've seen highlights of it, obviously, the one where he was running away from the Raiders for like 30 seconds on that 2-point conversion. And we saw it in the 2-minute drill is really where they're deploying him like that. They are trying to protect Kyler Murray, and rightfully so. They don't really have an opportunity to win playoff games if he's injured, so they're not running him this year as much as they did in years past. But in 2-minute drill situations and in must-come-back situations, they are. They have not played well in the first half. They've only led for like 3 minutes a game on average this year. So they've been in really pass-heavy situations. Now, Kyler Murray projects very well for this week, but when you realize that Nuke Hopkins comes back next week, moving Marquise Brown over to the other side, now they have one of those 2022 wide receiver rooms. Rondale Moore manning the slot, Zach Ertz at tight end. Kyler Murray becomes an extremely powerful card moving forward. So getting in on Kyler Murray in week 6 should benefit you in weeks 7 through 13, assuming that he can put down the sticks once Call of Duty comes out. So Kyler Murray, in my opinion, could be a card that moves up if the Cardinals offense starts to take off with the return of Hopkins. Tom Brady, the other non-superstar quarterback who looks very, very tasty this week. $15 for his core and what, $69.99? This is a misprice. This should be $69.69. I don't know who priced this card, but sir, you really need to work on your meme pricing. $70, approximately that if you wanted his rare card. Pairs very well with other non-superstars. So as I was saying, if you wanted to get a non-superstar stack, going with a Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and then whatever else you want to use, whether it's going to be Leonard Fournette, whether it's going to be Godwin, or if you wanted to go with Kyle Otten. I probably wouldn't go with Kyle Otten because he's only in play because of salaries. You want players that have that 20 to 30 point upside for your double stacks. You could then use him because he's a non-superstar in that lineup that has a superstar running back. So selectively speaking, you can do that with Kyler Murray as well, to get you wrapped with wide receivers around one of those superstar running backs. A great way to build lineups this week. Inexpensive too, to go after Tom Brady cards, and they can be played up. Saquon Barkley, he's gonna be one of the guys that I believe is going to get superstar status in week 9 once they reallocate the superstars. He fits every profile that means he's going to be a superstar, which we have seen has dropped prices for some players. He's currently priced as a superstar, can still be moved up. So if you have a legendary, you could play him in Reignmaker. If you have a rare, you could play him in Elite. The price on Saquon this week, he's like the running back 3 right now in terms of DraftKings scoring across the league, behind Nick Chubb and I think Eckler. I forget who's number 1, but like he is crushing this year, and he has not scored touchdowns yet. Only 3 touchdowns, mostly tied to the fact that they just don't have a wide receiver room and are struggling to maintain drives in New York. The offense has actually performed very well in spite of their lack of talent on the outside. Daniel Jones is rated as one of the middle in terms of QB rating, one of the middle of the league right now, way above where he should be based on the talent that he has on the outside, outranking players with much better wide receiver rooms. At quarterback, he's been, shall I say, serviceable, which is an upgrade from what he was in previous years. But Saquon Barkley has been a monster, and if Kadarius Toney and his 2 barking hamstrings can get healthy, if Wan'Dale Robinson can get on the field, if Galladay can remember that he used to be a good football player, the odds on Saquon Barkley outproducing his salary, his price tag on that card, go up greatly. Ramondre Stevenson is everybody's favorite right now because everybody is out in the running back room for New England. He projects, no matter what site you look at right now, he's projecting as a top 3 running back on the slate, on the main slate, not salary included, non-superstar. Can be played with any other superstar out there. He's $9.99, $11, $12 at the core. Rare tier, he's at $50 right now. If you bought a few, they have definitely gone up. If you bought them 2 weeks ago, these cards have flown, as I believe Ramondre was something like $2 and $20. He was like $2 at the core and $20 at the rare tier. ReignMakers is a market game. If you want to play him, you can, but he is the hype beast this week, and you can definitely take your profits now if you wanted to sell them and move on to some other running back, reinvest lower, and take some profits in the market. That's the beautiful thing that I think ReignMakers provides to us, is an option for exit liquidity on players that we invest in that really become fruitful because of whatever situation it was. For Ramondre, it was the Ty Montgomery and the Damian Harris injury that has boosted him into this spot. You can play him to try and make money, or you can sell him in the marketplace, figure out where your delta point is on that player, make your decisions, and move forward from there. At the pass catcher group, because you don't have to play a tight end, but this week I think you're going to want to, as highly as Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce are both projecting. Some sites have Andrews projecting ahead of Kelce. Some sites have Kelce projecting ahead of Andrews. I'm going with Andrews because I think everybody's going to be on the Kelce stack, and I think that Lamar Jackson Andrews is probably your best leverage off of the 2 most popular stacking options this week that are probably going to be, let's say the 3 best stacking options that are going to be Josh Allen, Geno Smith, and then Patrick Mahomes in order. Lamar Jackson has that ceiling, and we know that Mark Andrews has a 20 to 35 point ceiling himself. If Lamar has a fantastic game, he's going to drag Mark Andrews along with him. And Andrews is not expensive at $15 at core. His rare card's a little more expensive because Lamar as a superstar cannot be played up. So anybody that has a Lamar Elite is paying for the Mark Andrews rare to come up and be a part of that stack with him. Same thing for anybody with a rare Lamar Jackson, has boosted the price of this card to $16. I still think that this is low, especially considering that he's priced just under, like at 60% what Saquon Barkley is, and is extremely impactful as a pass catcher with massive touchdown upside, who's getting like 37% of his team's targets this year. Stefon Diggs, I may have to retire him in Cup. He's just going to be on this list every single week. And we know from the, I don't want to call it alpha, but from the guidance that DraftKings gave us, that he is never, ever going to get superstar status, because there is a rule in Reignmakers that they will not make a quarterback and one of their pass catchers both superstars. They will make a quarterback and a running back, or a wide receiver and a running back, both superstars on the same team, much like Herbert and Austin Eckler, much like Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook should not be a superstar. That's a whole other discussion. But Steph Diggs, one of the most powerful cards in the game and priced as such, will always project extremely high, especially on a week like this where he's going to be very popular, as the most popular game to stack is going to be Bills and Chiefs. There is no salary cap in Reignmakers, so it's not like you have to fit them under 50K like you have to in DraftKings. So if you have a Josh Allen card and you don't have a Steph Diggs, you have not invested in that, what even are you doing? Find your way to this card if you have a Josh Allen, because it is just that powerful to have in combination with him to run Josh Allen doubles every single week in Reignmakers. You would have made money every single week in Reignmakers for 5 weeks if you had the Steph Diggs and Josh Allen stack. And I would prefer to play a double, because he 30s more than he doesn't 30. Speaking of Josh Allen and fantasy point production. The last card that we have for you today is the third pass catcher, DK Metcalf. One of the best stacks that we have seen in terms of market share from the quarterback. Geno has been quite good, and DK Metcalf is leading this team in terms of target market share. Also, Geno is throwing over 50%, almost 55% of his targets go to 2 guys, and 57% of those targets in the red zone go to those 2 guys. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are certainly in play, and the price on DK is like $6 at core. This is super easy to get to. Like I said, if you go with like a DK Metcalf, pick a Cardinal to come back, Zach Ertz or whoever you want, or if you have the money to pay up for like a Marquise Brown, that gives you an easy secondary stack that has 50 to 60 point upside for your Reignmakers lineup that's only 5 people deep. His core card, $38. In comparison to the other cards that we've highlighted today that project extremely highly this week, DK Metcalf is probably the best value on the board when you consider what we know his ceiling is, his main skill set being able to get deep and be an end zone target when they get close, big splash ability, high target rate, as well as easily convertible end zone targets to touchdowns. So good luck to you guys this week in Reignmakers. Make sure that you join our Discord and look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.